Are we compatible as a team?
Oh my goodness, Jonathan clashes with Jonathan. You are the most finicky, like you actually, John. You're sometimes unfocused. The worst thing you do, you irritate everyone around you.
Do you know your destiny number? This is your daily catch-up. Majority of our viewers are not subscribed, and it will do us a lot if you just click that subscribe button down below so that we can continue making amazing videos for you guys. And if you guys are listening to us on Spotify as well, you can go and I think you can follow us on Spotify if I'm not wrong. So welcome to today's episode, everybody. We have a very interesting and interactive one this time because here with us we have a numerologist, Joanna.
Welcome, Joanna.
I heard that you're a sun goddess.
She is a sun goddess tarot.
Yes,
I'm very excited.
my nickname. Jonathan used to work on some of my projects on my account when I was working for AIA Singapore.
Your husband is also a freelance photographer.
Yes.
And so we support, we try and use him for certain jobs, or we connect him to certain clients that's looking for photographers. And so she said, hey, you've supported my husband's profession, so I want to do a reading for you. And I think in our chat, she also knew I had some uncertainty. But I was so skeptical, but in my head was this. She was a marketing director of a big company, and she knew a lot of the industry professionals that we knew. So at the end of the day, even if it was nonsense, it was still solid advice from an industry veteran.
Yeah.
That was when I agreed, like, okay. And she sent me an email, and then she said, you might want to sit down when you read it because I'm never wrong.
Whoa.
I haven't even read it yet, okay?
That's badass.
For people who don't know what is numerology, how do you define it?
Each number is associated with a characteristic trait. If you were to draw the number 1, right, it's quite straight, it's quite long, it's quite thin, it's quite tall, right?
Like then.
So 1 is a number of somebody who is always in leadership, somebody who is very far-sighted, very visionary. They see the forest, they don't see the trees. They don't like details. 1 is somebody, like you actually, John. 1 is somebody that loves to manage and take care of the family and take care of everything and always likes to be the boss of everything, you know, and takes on so much responsibility that it really irks you when something fails.
Sounds like John.
But I thought it was 8.
No, your
I have an email.
Your 8 will come later. Your 8 will come later. Okay.
You know too much.
This is a character number. Okay. So character number 1 people, they are often like this, and they like to be very independent. So, you know, like John, I said that you're character 1, you're quite independent. It's hard for you to take on advice of other people, but you love to give advice. Okay.
Oh, it sounds like an
Sounds
asshole
about right.
actually.
You're very,
Sounds about right.
you're very opinionated, very strong opinions, and you're the sort who believe what you believe in. It takes a while to sway you, okay? And you need to be swayed by experience.
Wait, but how did you even realize that you have this gift?
A very long time ago, when I was a child, right, I found a book in the shelves of my dad's row of bookshelves. There was one on myths and misconceptions of occult. Okay. And it was about card reading. You know, the Jirami cards that you get. Now, I don't believe in that nonsense, right?
Oh.
So I...
How do we
Okay,
decide what's
okay.
nonsense at this point?
I'm trying to get buy in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
I don't believe that nonsense, but I read it with a very open mind. But I got very interested and intrigued by it because my dad, being the scholarly father that he is, why would he read something like this? And I realized he read it because he wanted to expand his knowledge and probe into it and ask as many questions as he would, the way a scholar would.
Yeah.
I started to build a lot of interest around tarot and numerology. I studied under a teacher in Singapore. And for some reason, I got quite good at it. And I decided it's not enough. I needed to study with teachers from all over the world. And for tarot, I actually got certified. I took exams.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, and I took exams from a certification body in the US. What I fell in love with was numerology, a lot more than I did with tarot. I got myself certified as well. I continued studying it with so many teachers all over the place. Number 1, I studied how to calculate your character number.
Yeah.
How to calculate your life path number. So life path number is very easy. You calculate the entire day of birth date.
Plus month, plus year.
Yeah, so day of birth, a month, and your year,
Yeah.
individually, okay?
Add up until we become single digit.
Correct, yeah. And then the next chapter was studying the name numerology. And each alphabet has a number lah. You know, A is 1 ma. You should know.
Okay.
B is
okay.
2 ma.
Oh,
C is
okay,
3.
okay.
You know, very easy, right? There's another other numbers that is important, and that it would tell me about, for example, the personal year number. So personal year number kind of characterizes the type of experience you might go through in that year. Okay. So one example for you, you are born on 28 June, right?
Yeah, me.
And it's very easy to decipher that. So you just take 28, your 2 plus 8 plus 6 plus this year. So 2
Plus
plus 8 plus 6 plus
23.
20, 23. Yeah?
Okay, then we add up. Then mine was like 5, right?
Yeah, yours is 5, correct.
So that one is every year will change, right?
Every year
Yes.
will change. Up to
Plus 1
up to year 9.
Then
And once you
minus
go
10.
into year 9, you go back
Right.
to 1 again.
Right.
Okay. So does that mean you also have to get a reading done every year?
It depends. Okay, there's no hard and fast rules. Some people get a reading done every year. Some even depending on the seasonality. Some of them change jobs, so they will get a reading with me.
Right.
Or they do it when they are troubled lah.
Do it when they're troubled. They just want to get clarity.
Right. So if it's because numerology is somewhat of a science, right? So any numerologist I go to would technically be able to give me the same answer.
Yes.
Or is there like a difference? Like, are there like good and like not so good numerologists, and what is the difference?
Good question. Just like insurance agents, estate agents, lawyers, doctors, there are good ones, there are bad ones, okay? There are different types of numerology. Now, I am not privy to the other types of numerology because I've never studied other types of numerology except Pythagorean numerology. And I've sat through a class before, a numerology class before, just out of curiosity, and I was told to calculate in different ways where they draw squares and triangles and arrows here and there, you know? And I was thinking, oh my God, it's so complicated. The answer still is the same because 1 plus 1 is still 2, right? But they drew in such a complicated way that kind of baffled me. There must be a science in that. I don't know what science it is, but I would never teach my students in that way because all I want my students to do is be guided with this beauty of numerology to kind of make their own decisions.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want them to use it as a predictive tool. I don't want them to think that, I'm so obsessed with numerology so that it can help me, choose the right person to marry.
Yeah.
As a Roman Catholic, right, there's a lot of
Jumping into the hard part, eh?
yeah, there's a lot of talk about how my church wouldn't agree with metaphysical tools like tarot and numerology. And I can understand because they do not understand what it's all about. Okay, so it's labeled under the label of occult. So why I like to use numerology is because it helps me debunk the myth and misconceptions of it. Numerology, in the first place, is a science. It's a mathematical science. It was invented by Pythagoras, who invented mathematics.
No.
I love Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah. It's
So-
the easiest one to remember.
If you think this is occult, then all those schooling years when you were studying mathematics and higher maths and additional maths and all that
witchcraft.
stuff, it must be witchcraft.
No,
you know?
math is f***ing witchcraft, right? Think about it. What the heck is I times this, I get the long end. What the f***?
So I studied even harder with numerology. I love it so much. And I also realized it became a conversation starter for somebody like me when I was young. I was big size, so I get teased a lot in school. So I tried to hide, right? But I realized I wanted to use my personality and my voice out there to then bring my whole courage up a little bit. So whenever I'm in the presence of strangers, I like to start a conversation by asking them, what's your birth date? And then I do a reading on the spot, and they go like, oh my God, where
Then
do you get all
invoice
that
them.
from? You put out from your ass. I mean, how do you know about this? do you read about me? Do you Google about me? Whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do that in different settings. So one setting would be a bar. So I went to Atlas Bar. I will sit at a bar for a drink and I'll read for the entire bar staff.
Wow. This is like some movie scenes. Yeah.
And before you know it, the guy on my right who is a customer at the bar goes like, hey, can you read for me too? And that's how I kind of built that whole reputation of having a personality with numerology. Weddings, you attend weddings, the whole table, you don't know them one, no, right? But suddenly I come out of it, all of them are my clients.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But they laugh at you at the table first, right? They're like,
Yeah.
but after that they text you.
can you do your impression of Philip DeFranco?
If you don't subscribe right now, I'm gonna punch you in the throat. This is your Philip DeFranco.
That's what he says.
I know.
Okay, but anyway, guys, subscribe.
Question with no offense. Does it not just sound like a lot of like Barnum statements? Like it's very generic, then you can kind of apply to everybody. Because I will also say that he has strong opinions.
Okay, what's your birth date?
12th of September 1998.
Okay. So it's very easy,
You count already,
for people who don't
It's a
know numerology, this is a very simple, no science type of thing. Okay, you just look at 12, right? 1 plus 2 equals to 3. Your day of birth defines your character number, which is your behavior and your attitude. So for John, just now I said you're 1 because you are 28, ma.
Yeah.
So 2 plus 8 equals to 1. Okay, 2 plus 8 is
2 plus
10.
8, 1 and 0, 1 plus 0, 1.
Correct.
But it's for your quick math.
So for you, Denise, you are 3, character 3, and character 3 people, you just draw the tree, right? It's
Curvaceous.
very curvaceous, very curly whirly, very creative. You are a creative soul, and you hate to be in an organization that suppresses you, because you like to have freedom of expression. Yeah, sometimes unfocused. You like to do many different things, and you go like, oh, what I forgot what I'm supposed to do. You know, you're very happy-go-lucky. You like to draw energy from positive people. It's such a positive number. 3 is so conversant, communicative, creative.
Are you not freaked out yet? Okay.
Yeah. And you know, because you draw so much energy from people, you must be in a company of positive people. Because the minute you're in a company of very toxic people and environment, draws you down immediately, and you suffer the kind of mood swings, you know. So that's what you don't want to do, right?
Okay.
You are right now in a year 8. Okay. Often people in year 8 will decide, you know, I want to leave a job because it's not serving me. I want to leave a relationship because it's not serving me. Because it's all about them and reclaiming back their personal power. But when you go into year 9, which is this September, it's the last year of the numerological cycle. Okay. And often being the last year of the numerological cycle, you'll find that you experience a lot of stress, a lot of obstacles, but not because I'm predicting stress and obstacles. It's because it's what we call a year of closure. 9 is closes the numerological cycle, ma. So when it closes, something have to close. Either a job, a situation, a relationship, whatever. Something has to close, and you need to look at evaluate what needs to close and what door needs to open.
Wait, did we send her the list of questions?
No.
Because it's literally written here, right? I don't know whether this is getting spooky or what. Specifically for Denise, is how should she navigate her career? Like, that is her question.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope that helps you with your answer.
So when you talk about closure, right, it need not be like for big things, for example, like the end of a relationship, end of a job, or end of something. It could be aspects in the relationship
Correct. Yeah.
that you are looking at, like discerning and moving on from.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, closure is really good, guys. I feel like, you know, when sometimes you eat and then you feel like something's missing, like you like some closure in that meal.
Dessert.
Or you're holding on to grudge and pain, and then you feel like,
Yeah.
I feel like you want some resolution to it. Not that you all need to be friends again,
Yeah.
but that thing no longer affects you.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like all these things are major closures that hold you back
Yep.
in many things in your life.
Exactly.
It's
Which
not
is
the end of
where-
relationship.
So what do people actually, what do they want to figure out, right?
Okay.
When they come and see you or they try to get their reading,
So
right?
the first thing I like to do is demystify numerology. Okay, when they come for a reading or people go for readings because, oh, you know, should I break up with him or should I marry him? First and foremost, I'm not a fortune teller. Okay, I don't tell fortunes and I don't predict futures. Let's get it very clear. This is a mathematical science. There's no such thing as fate. There's no such thing as destiny. That you are in control of the path that you're in, because the minute you're aware of your numbers, it makes it easier for you to work with each other. Example, she's a character 3, this fellow is a character 1. I'm quite sure sometimes when they work together, this fellow go like, wow, this Denise damn annoying, man. Walao, cannot make up her mind, right? And this fellow will go like, oh, this John, so 倔强. You know, how rigid. You know, I want to try to explain a way of doing things, but he doesn't want to listen to me. Sometimes it could happen, but because when you're aware of numbers, you go like, oh, it's not that she's a bitch. It helps you respond to them. You know, I'll give you an example. You know, when I was working my last job, so my boss joined me like 3 years into when I was 3 years into my job. I didn't like her initially. Okay, So I brought her out for lunch. I said, let me tell you why I don't like you, okay? You're character 3, life path 4, and I'm character 1, life path 7. She was like, what? You know? And I explained to her, I said, the reason why I don't like you is because you like to do things in detail. Character 3 loves details, okay? Life path 4 love details. I'm a big picture person. If you ask me on the spot on a Sunday afternoon, what's the budget you're spending on this sponsorship? I go like, let me check.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it off my mind, okay? But she expects me to know every detail of every line of my budget and expenditure, line by line. I wouldn't have that offhand, okay? Secondly, I'm very sensitive. As a character 1, we are very sensitive, but we don't talk about it. We don't tell people that. We are like the durian. You know, inside very soft, outside very tough, okay? So when she called my staff on a Sunday to ask for information, she just wanted to not trouble me on a Sunday when I was at church and whatever. And she just wanted to, she knows my staff will have the number right at her fingertips. I felt very vulnerable. I felt like, wow, how can you just bypass me and go to her, you know? My ego self comes in. Character 1 has a natural ego self.
Damn it.
And they protect it quite fiercely because they don't want to show you that actually I'm quite egoistic, okay? Now, I was very upset for a long, long while, but I decided because now that she knows the numbers and she knows that I'm big into numerology, I called her up and I say, hey, you know, why did you call my staff? She says, no, I don't want to trouble you, and I know you're not big on numbers, but she does. She knows it. And immediately I love her because I realized that helped to kind of kill all the doubts and kill all the misconceptions and all this, you know, all these bad vibes that I got was uncalled for, unnecessary. You know, I solved it immediately knowing that that's how our numbers work and how different we were.
Right. Can anybody learn this? And if I want to learn it, right, like how much will it cost?
Okay, so anybody can learn. You don't have to be, you know, a lot of people go like, oh, I need to be spiritually inclined and don't know what, right? No.
Gifted.
No. Anyone who have studied mathematics can study this, okay? As long as you can count, So, and usually I charge by the hour, right? So I go by blocks of the hour. So within the hour is $200. And usually it takes about, for a very basic one, it takes maybe about 4 hours to 5 hours. I would recommend you don't do it in one shot. So usually people come to me, they do it like 1 hour a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
To learn,
To learn.
not to
learn.
read. Lah.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I have your birth date?
Oh, shit.
11
Kena
September 1992.
Okay, so for you,
September
11.
Yeah. It's a horrible birthday in 2001.
1992. Okay. You are a very emotional person. You make your decisions from your heart more than from your head. Learn how to walk away from things that don't serve you. Because you tend to bear grudges here. You tend to bear your emotional residual negativity in here. And then you let it fester. So your life path number 5 tells me that your life is never planned. You know, Singaporeans have a very planned life. It's like
That's where you got him. He's
primary
Malaysian.
school, secondary school, primary school, secondary school, then, you know, college and university and whatever, and then 4-room flat, get married, you know, and that's your life, right? But your life is never planned. Your life has always been filled with changes, a lot of ups and downs. And you are a catalyst of change. You are the sort who need to, you know, be very resilient. And you notice that your career paths will always change and evolve. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your destiny number is a 2. So your destiny 2 is a type of destiny, you know, like him. If you draw a 2 is always looking like a swan, swimming very calmly across the river, right?
Yeah.
But feverishly, you know, paddling underneath. So you're the sort, you know, above you're very calm and you need to thrive in an environment of harmony.
Yeah, but I'm
inside,
struggling,
you
yeah.
kanchiong like crazy, like,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Kanchiong spider, right?
Right now also, yeah.
Yeah. See, so it's like that, you know. You can see the traits already just by the way the number is written.
No, my turn.
What is his problem? We always knew. No, as in, we know what's wrong with him, but we want to know from your point of view.
You are the most finicky. You can't date a sex doll, you know what I mean?
Are there any very interesting experiences or interactions with certain customers that you can share? Any funny stories? Yeah, got people like ask for their money back or something, you know?
No, I never had that. I never had that experience. Because numerology is so cut and dry, right? It's mathematical, you know. You can't come back and say, hey, but that number is wrong. You can't, because it's your birth date, ma. You
Right.
can't,
Yeah.
you know, even you know how to calculate it, so I can't get wrong about that, right? Okay, so often parents come to me and say, hey, I'm going to have a child, and we found out it's a boy. These are the list of names that we have, you know.
That we like, lah.
That we like, yeah. So I go like, okay, I just calculate, no, to make sure that hopefully there's no missing numbers. There's hopefully that the numbers do help them nurture the kids in a way that, you know, that is that helps you know, the parents, you know, do a lot of good for the child. Now I tell you why. There's a parent that come to me and wanted to find out the numerological profile of all his entire family, you know, so father, mother, and his 3 children. When I calculated, of course, the child, one of the eldest child, I think, who is a boy, and you know, is a Asian family. Asian family, the boy is very important now, okay? And he's a doctor, you know, he's a doctor. And he wants the child to be a doctor, okay? And he said, you know, I want my child to be doctor, lawyer, that kind of thing, like, you know, very typical Asian. So I told him, I said, you know, your eldest child should be nurtured in the arts, because he's going to be very good at music, literature, drama, writing. He says, what rubbish? What kind of career can you do with writing and drawing and all that? You know, and artists, they can't earn anything. I said, no, I'm not saying that he's going to be an artist. I'm saying that the arts is going to be something that he will love.
Right.
You know, he immediately thought I was some fraud. You know, and said, no, I don't believe in you. To me, the process of nurturing is very important. I believe that if I were to make sure that my son goes to the right school, nurtured in the right way, read the right books, you know, he will take over my practice one day. Okay? And I said, well, good luck to you. I hope that happens. You know, I sincerely hope that happens, but I you know, my last advice to you, whether you think I'm a fraud or not, you know, is this, you know, please give the child a semblance of freedom to explore his creativity.
Right.
Yeah. So I can do that much for somebody, but I cannot go further. You know, it's up to him to kind of either take it with a pinch of salt or go with the advice.
Right.
Or his child that's already a doctor can just
Yeah.
like act like a grown-ass man, lah, right?
Yeah.
And no longer a child.
Yeah.
Right.
But does that mean that, say, if he, in a sense, forces the kid to go down a certain path, right, that it will be a struggle for the child?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it often happens. So
Sorry, you say first.
So there's this adult, this woman who is a financial director of a MNC, okay? Now, her destiny number is more charity type of destiny number, but she has been in finance director for like almost 30 odd years, right? And when I read for her, I said, are you happy with your job? He says, yeah, happy lah. Earn a lot of money, I travel a lot. What do you mean by not happy? I said, no, I'm just asking you, are you truly fulfilled? And when I explained to her why I asked that question, because her destiny number was quite different, she says, yeah, I always feel something is missing, you know? So I said, you know, I'm not asking you to change your job. I'm asking you, maybe now at this age, you're already almost 50, why don't you use your skills for a greater good? Volunteer it somewhere. And today she actually volunteers in the RC, resident committee, to as like a treasurer. You know, she helps to count money, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Let's say, hypothetically, I just got married and then I were to have kids eventually, right? Like, if I were to pick names in a way that doesn't clash with either my wife or I, and so that we live in a harmonious family forever and they don't rebel against me. That's possible, right? To count the numbers.
Doesn't work that way. What the numbers, the calculation does is helps you nurture the child in a way that you should be nurturing the child, or helps you to, you know, even if the numbers do clash with you guys. I mean, like, for example, like I talked to you about case of Denise and Jonathan, right?
Mm-mm.
Different numbers, but they can still work together because now you know why Denise operates that way.
Like what motivates them
Correct,
and like
correct.
stuff like that.
Correct,
Okay,
yeah.
understood.
Now, there are a few types of deep intuition that some people have, okay? Some people are clairvoyant, so they see things, okay? I don't have a gift. Some people are clairsentient, so they kind of know things. Some people are clairaudience, they hear things, okay?
Oh, that's what I mean.
Right? So
Okay,
clairsentient,
okay.
you know things. So, like sometimes, you get a flash of insight that something is not right or that they are meant to do this path, you know? One example was when I was, interestingly, when I was, that year that I was going to get retrenched from the company, I remember I had a lot of signs that came into my mind and suddenly goes like, wait a minute, that's not right. And it just came into my mind to tell me that I need to be warned, that to prepare myself. Now if my ego self comes in, I go like, no, it won't happen. It won't happen. Who would ever retrench a 10-year veteran in that company? Now then that becomes a problem. So your clairsentience will help you go like, should I start this business that I want to create next year or something?
Right. Sick.
So that comes from our intuition number.
Sick.
How do we calculate our intuition number?
It's all in your name.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
correct. Yeah.
Oh, my mother put the extra H inside.
You
I've
see?
been complained my whole life.
Change everything.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
Oh, mine don't have.
Your last name, Chinese name all counts lah.
Doesn't go work that way, guys. Oh my goodness.
What's your question?
Okay. No, my turn.
Yeah, actually,
Hey, yeah.
actually, the other Jonathan, I never got to read you.
Oh my god, I'm so curious now.
Everybody's been read. I don't know why I've been focusing on this, especially Denise. Okay, I think because Denise needed to. I feel intuitively, I feel that Denise has a lot of doubts that she needs to clear. Okay.
You knew it intuitively.
Yeah, that's what I feel from you, the vibe that I get, yeah. And you're right now in a crossroads of things, so I feel that I can't do the in-depth thing right now for you, but you need to, like I said, now knowing your numbers, you know why you are responding in this way. The worst thing to do is be crippled by indecision. The best thing to do is lay everything out, your options out in front of you, identify what your superpower is, and go with it. Okay. And the other Jonathan,
He really opened his notepad.
That's how much he cares about you as your supervisor.
No, he's about to note down whatever she's gonna say to him.
so you are born the same month as me, okay? So
Sick.
you are a character 8.
Oh, that explains
Okay.
so much.
Now interesting, character 8 and your life path 8. Do you guys clash quite a lot?
Every 2 hours?
Once a week?
No lah, we don't. Not anymore. We used to. But he clashes with a lot of people, to be honest.
Just now we did compatibility test at lunchtime. Apparently he only compatible with one person in our whole company.
In the entire company.
So let me tell you about character 8, okay? They are very, very strong, very opinionated, very entrepreneurial. You can nose opportunities from a mile away. People with character 8 often do have the entrepreneurial skill sets to help you.
Okay.
He's just writing dollar signs.
The only problem with you is your mind is almost like and I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word, pretty ADHD, okay? Because you tend to change your mind quite a lot all the
Our
time.
producer is shook.
You are fixated by one thing, and then after that, you talk, and then after you forget next day, okay?
Man.
And that's
falling
you,
out of her
okay?
chair.
But so my advice to you is, you need to actually write down your ideas. And at night, your ideas come out at 3, 4 a.m. and then you go like, wow, no, I need to text somebody. It will irritate people when I tell
Text
you.
me.
Okay.
No, he has a chat to himself.
Is it all ADHD people have?
So you need to write down your ideas, because you got a wealth of ideas, great ideas. But the worst thing you do, you irritate everyone around you. When you 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you hey John, let's go for roti prata. I want to tell you about this idea.
Down anytime.
At 4 a.m. So you need to learn how to manage that, and you tend to change your mind all the time. So sometimes the people who don't know you go like, that Jonathan, what he says is not what he means, But there will be people who know you go like, wow, Jonathan, I will seek advice from him because he knows best. He's, you're too lazy to write shit, but you're so good at your ideas that people want to stand on there and listen to the pearls of wisdom.
Guys, we have a mole in the company.
Am I right? So far, so good.
So far. Yeah.
Now, your life path is 9. So remember, character 8 now is a number of money, opportunity, business, all that kind of thing, right? But 9, remember, 9 is about wanting to give the community, okay? So you don't like to work for money, okay? You always portray that, yes, I want to work for money, but the truth is, you would like to do things that add value to the community, to educate the public, support people. Of all the 4 friends you have here, you are the most finicky because everything about you need to fit into that mold of what you expect that thing to be. And it becomes very tiresome, especially for Denise. She goes like, "Walao eh." You're killing my creativity, Jonathan.
Finicky.
Yeah.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Then
Got
if
the red underline.
and especially when she has to work with 2 of you, with the 8s. This one is life path 8, you want character 8.
And someone they are both called Jonathan.
Yeah,
Sick.
this fella is going to like, walao, with this 2, The good thing is because you are such a good leader. Leadership skills, that's why you all care about Denise. Beyond her, you all think about Denise, fluffy, they cannot make up mind. But the truth is, you all really care about her plans and her path.
So the specific topic for me, right, that my producer write down here, right, is
Then you ask.
with regards to relationship.
Will he find
He's been
love
single for a long while.
long?
What's his problem? We always knew. But, no, as in, we know what's wrong with him, but we want to know from your point of view.
What's his excuse?
Nothing to do in numerology.
He's a Cantonese for what?
Is his face right?
So, Jonathan, you are...
Finicky.
You know what you love? Okay,
Venus.
I know you don't have... I know you don't have relationships, right? You're single, right? Now, a lot of it is your expectations of people.
Yes!
Okay.
Don't
You
validate.
cannot walk around with a
Naked.
tick box of what the perfect girl should be. Now, the thing about you is, you're such a tua kepo, right? You love to meet a lot of people. You love to give their advice. You love to take on their responsibility. You love to help people and support them and hold their hands through their problems. But when it comes to manifesting a close, productive relationship, suddenly it stops there. Because you go like, no. Okay, I can advise you, but you're not the perfect girl for me, or I don't think it can work. And you will always have the I don't think it can work type of mentality because you always have the perfect box. You want to structure the perfect box. You can't date a sex doll, you know what I mean?
He would like to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You cannot, you there's no perfect anybody.
Okay. So the birthday of this girl, right?
Hopefully her name and address, telephone numbers.
So his notes are $, finicky, and no sex doll.
No sex doll, question mark, maybe.
Are we compatible as a team, the 4 of us?
Oh. Well, that's so many
Very,
numbers.
very, very, very good question. Okay.
She need to draw a mind map.
When I was given the numbers in advance, okay, and I don't know you, I would have said, oh my goodness, Jonathan clashes with Jonathan, okay? Then the worst thing is Jonathan, so hard numbers, how can be with this soft one here? Creative, fluffy, how can? Then this one, wow, emotional breakdown. Then, you know what? So that would be what
Is this content?
that would be what I would think if I kind of am a new numerologist who have no sense of going a bit deeper into your numbers. But because when I sit here, I see the perfect eclectic mix of characteristic traits by the different numbers that you guys have. Okay, like for example, I said that you're very hard, right? Your character 8, life path 9.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, no.
Sorry,
I mean, no.
Okay, I mean it's very hard numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Character 8, life path 9.
It could be, we don't know.
And you tend to have lots of ideas, very entrepreneurial and all that. Now, the truth of the matter is your mental 6 and your emotional 6 numbers are what softens you.
It's the mental 6, like, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mental
Yeah,
6.
Because the 6, I told you,
Your,
mother
as in,
natural.
your intellect is that of
very,
a...
very advisory, very, you're the sort who cares about people. If I don't see your other numbers, I just see your character 8 life path 9, I go like, walao, I don't want to be friends with him. But because I see your other numbers, I go like, wow, this fella actually cares about everything he puts in.
So sorry, his mental age was what again? I forgot.
Mental age.
Can you read numerology for non-humans? Because like the
party.
producer was asking whether you can read like the
Never tried
numerology
before.
for the show.
For the show.
Like for the brand, like
we
the
have
daily
a
Ketchup.
birthday.
Yeah.
A birthday.
Like from the date that we started this.
Okay. I'm not sure. Never tried that, but let's try. Why not?
So context is we gave her 2 numbers. One was when we first launched the podcast on our Real Talk channel, and then the other one was when we ported over and started its own channel.
Okay, so 21st May was when you all started it. 21st May 2021. What I see is that from the numbers, right, it was a character 3 life path 4. What I can see that it was created by creative minds who just wanted to have conversations. You try to have structure with the conversations, but it was merely pure conversations, okay? You want to talk about everything under the sun, okay, as much as possible. But when you evolved to 25th June, it became a situation where you guys wanted to create a podcast with a purpose, okay? And the purpose was meant to teach and to support and to educate and to, talk about areas that some people might not want to talk about, and shed light on things like that. When y'all ported to this podcast on 25th June, it was a situation where often it kind of took a life of its own. You might plan something for the podcast in order to go a certain way, but somehow throughout, maybe the guests you invite or the things you talk about evolve in a certain way, they suddenly change, and you go like, hey, wait a minute, that works too. And that sheds light to things that we didn't know would happen, and it's meant to be, because the daily catch-up, the numbers of daily catch-up now, your heart desire number and your personality mass number is 3 and 3, okay? And the threes are actually, like I said, very creative numbers. They're numbers where you really want to lend some creativity to it. You want to be very different from others. People see you as that. But when you combine those, you actually make yourself as somebody who is really of service to community. The daily catch-up is much needed to support conversations in out there that nobody want to talk about. You want to expand the conversations. You want to give people a chance to air their views. You want to talk about topics that a lot of other people don't delve on.
Jojo, join us.
Me?
We share one chair. A minute for a minute.
Then you want to share my mic?
So Joel is Joanna's son. I've known him for a while also. Hello. Over the course of this, right? I mean, to us, it's intriguing. I mean, on one end, it's like learning about our life. Yeah. On one end, it feels like spiritual mumbo jumbo that is very intriguing. But I think it's very different when it's your mum.
It is actually.
How does it feel like growing up with your mum into this? Like, am I just a number to you? Like, like my personality is this. Like, mum, I'm into music. Stop telling me I'm 6,
No, okay.
Apparently
so
everything is 6.
I guess that there is there's a certain, I think just now y'all mentioned, sometimes she gives clarity to certain things. So there must be a reason why I like certain genre of a music, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, or maybe perhaps a certain path that I'm going down, like there's a specific reason why. And sometimes we cannot explain it.
Right.
I'm
Do you feel like you benefited from having an intuitive mom that's into numerology?
Only when he listens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, like I guess like children are to parents how we often are is, I guess children like us like to
Rebel?
not just rebel. Okay, we don't just rebel, but we try to prove our own parents wrong as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes we like, although yes, it will come across as rebellious, but it will come a certain point in time when you go like, actually, what my mom said was correct.
I'm always right.
I think, wow, we have actually a lot to unpack here.
But yeah, I guess certain times it also puts a point there where it's a different kind of parental guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are certain points in our life, my mom would have to tackle in a certain way. And especially now in my life also, I'm trying to tackle not just work, but personal relationships and all that. It's not just with my friends, but maybe it could be with someone, with my loved one and all that.
Yeah.
So
Like, do you ever have this I guess my question is, do you ever have this question, like have said this to your mom, like, can you talk to me like a person? You know?
Not really.
Like I need relationship advice. I fought with my girlfriend. Talk to me like you
Okay.
are my mom.
okay, yes.
Not like I'm number 4.
That's a good perspective because I use the numbers I overlay with my parental advice.
Right. Last question, Joel.
Yeah.
Will you ever, and I say this with tremendous respect and for Joanna and our friendship, right? But were you ever ridiculed that your mom was into numerology?
Not really. I think you have to understand that all my friends we are all on the same level and we are all on the same age as well.
Right.
So everyone is actually very interested in what my mom does actually.
Right.
Yeah, so everyone is very open to the concept. I mean, yes, some of them are not as fortunate where they grew up with very traditional households, very traditional parents, but they themselves are very cultured and
They still try and get a free reading from your mom, that kind of.
sometimes,
All the time.
sometimes my parents will go, hey, can I ask your mom to help me read my boyfriend or not?
Right.
Or compatibility between me and this guy lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
My ass hurts from sure.
Okay, thank you very much for watching today's episode, and of course, thank you, Joanna, for joining us and giving us readings.
So welcome.
Answering many of our questions. You can check out her website here and book a consultation with her if you're interested. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.
This could be Denise's last episode.
Then go toilet also. He's like, he very stressed.
He's having a meltdown.
Because emotional.